Are you taking aspirin every day, just in case? A lot of people do. For years, we were told it could help prevent a heart attack. But new research says that may not be true for everyone, and in some cases, it could even be risky. In this video, we'll dive into the real story, when aspirin helps, when it doesn't, and what you should be doing instead to protect your heart. If you're over 50 and care about your heart health, you need to hear this. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is aspirin, and why has it been so widely used for heart health? Aspirin is one of the oldest and most studied medications in the world. Originally derived from willow bark thousands of years ago, its main ingredient, acetyl salicylic acid, helps reduce pain, fever, and most importantly for us, blood clots. Now here's the key. When it comes to heart attacks, the real danger isn't just plaque buildup, it's what happens when that plaque ruptures. A clot forms, blocks the artery, and suddenly, boom, a heart attack. That's where aspirin comes in. It works by stopping platelets, the tiny cells in your blood, from clumping together. In other words, it prevents the clot that causes the heart attack. That's why it's been a cornerstone in myocardial infarction drug treatment for decades. But, and this is important, aspirin doesn't remove plaque. It doesn't clean out your arteries. That's a common myth. What it does is reduce the chance that a dangerous clot will form around unstable plaque. For years, the medical community encouraged adults, especially those over 50, to take a low-dose aspirin every day to prevent heart attacks and strokes. It was cheap, accessible, and, at first glance, relatively safe. The logic was simple. Since aspirin reduces blood clotting, it should reduce the risk of a clot blocking your arteries and causing a heart attack. And for many people, it did save lives. But here's where things get tricky. Back in 2022, the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, the group that advises national health guidelines, updated its recommendation. They no longer suggested aspirin for everyone over 60 as a blanket prevention strategy. Why? Because new evidence showed that for some people, especially those without a history of heart disease, the risks of daily aspirin might outweigh the benefits. Let's break that down. While aspirin can help prevent clots, it also increases the chance of bleeding, especially in the stomach and intestines. And in some rare cases, it can even cause bleeding in the brain. These side effects become more common as we age. So, if you don't already have plaque in your arteries or haven't had a heart attack before, taking aspirin every day might actually do more harm than good. That's a huge shift, and it confused a lot of people. Headlines made it sound like aspirin was no longer recommended at all, but that's not true. It's still considered essential in secondary prevention. That means people who've already had a heart attack, stroke, or have been diagnosed with plaque buildup. If that's you, aspirin might still be part of your treatment plan. But if you're in the primary prevention group, meaning no signs of cardiovascular disease, then aspirin is no longer automatically recommended. Instead, doctors now take a more personalized approach. They look at your overall risk. Do you have high blood pressure, diabetes, family history, evidence of plaque from a CIMT scan? So the message here is not that aspirin is bad. It's that aspirin is not for everyone. It used to be a one-size-fits-all recommendation. Now, it's a case-by-case decision. And honestly, that's a good thing. Medicine should be personalized. What helps one person might harm another. And with heart health, one small pill can have big consequences, both good and bad. By now, you're probably asking, okay, so where do I fit in? Should I take aspirin or not? Great question, and here's how to think about it. Let's split it into 3 simple groups. Group 1. You've had a heart attack, stroke, or been diagnosed with plaque. If that's you, you're in what we call secondary prevention. That means the disease process has already started, and the goal now is to prevent a second event. For this group, aspirin is still very much recommended, unless you have a specific bleeding risk or allergy. It's part of standard myocardial infarction drug treatment in hospitals. It's also what they give you in the ambulance during a heart attack. So yes, for you, aspirin can be life-saving. Group 2. You're over 50, but you've never had heart issues. This is where things get more complicated. If you've never had a heart attack, stroke, or shown signs of plaque, you're in the primary prevention group. So now the question becomes, what's your actual risk? Do you have high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, high LDL or LPA? Are you overweight, sedentary, or have a strong family history of early heart disease? If you said yes to any of those, you might still benefit from low-dose aspirin, but you should only start after consulting your doctor and maybe even getting a CMT scan or coronary calcium score. These tests can show if you have silent plaque, which often builds up without symptoms. Group 3. You're low risk and healthy. No history, no symptoms, and no risk factors? Then aspirin might not help you and could actually hurt. Remember, it's not risk-free. Even baby aspirin can cause bleeding, especially as we age. So in this group, lifestyle changes are far more powerful than any pill. Eat smart, move daily, control your blood sugar, manage your weight. That's how to prevent a heart attack before it becomes a crisis. This is where so many people get it wrong. They think, I'm getting older, maybe I should just take aspirin just in case. But that kind of thinking can backfire. With heart health, more is not always better. Smarter is better. So again, it's not about fear, it's about facts. And the facts say aspirin isn't for everyone. Let's be honest, most people would rather take a pill than change their lifestyle. It's easier, right? But if you really want to avoid a heart attack, not just delay one, the most powerful tools are not found in your medicine cabinet. They're in your daily habits and in early testing. So here's what actually works. 1. Get tested before the crisis. Most heart attacks happen without warning symptoms. That's scary, but it's also avoidable. The problem is that standard checkups often miss hidden risks. Your blood pressure could be normal, your cholesterol might look fine, but underneath you could still be building plaque in your arteries. That's why advanced screening matters. Tests like CMT, carotid intima media thickness, use ultrasound to measure plaque in your neck arteries. If you've got soft plaque there, it's likely in your heart too. It's simple, painless, and costs less than you might think. Another powerful test, coronary calcium score, a CT scan that detects hard plaque in your coronary arteries. It gives you a clear visual number. The higher your score, the higher your risk. These tests are how you catch problems before they turn into a heart attack. This is what real prevention looks like. 2. Know your hidden risk markers. There's more to heart risk than just cholesterol. For example, LPA, lipoprotein A, is a genetic marker that increases heart attack risk up to 4 times. Most doctors still don't test for it, but it's a game changer if you know you have it. Also important, insulin resistance, prediabetes, inflammation markers like HSCRP. These don't always show up on basic blood tests, but they matter a lot. If you have these silent risks, you may need to act now, even if you feel fine. 3. Fix the lifestyle first. This one's not glamorous, but it's still king. You want to know the best way to avoid a heart attack, with or without aspirin? Walk at least 30 minutes a day. Cut down sugar and ultra-processed carbs. Get 7+ hours of good sleep. Manage stress, seriously. Watch your waistline more than your weight. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Studies show that 80 to 90% of heart attacks could be prevented with the right lifestyle, and that includes people with genetic risks. Aspirin can't beat that. No pill can. So here's the truth. If you're relying on aspirin alone, you might be missing the bigger picture. Yes, it can help. Let's talk about what the most popular natural options actually do. Omega-3 fatty acids, like fish oil. These help reduce inflammation and make platelets a little less sticky, which means fewer clots. That's good for heart health overall and supported by research. They don't act as strongly as aspirin, but they do have a gentle, long-term effect. They're especially helpful for people with high triglycerides or early plaque. 2. Turmeric and curcumin. These compounds have anti-inflammatory and mild antiplatelet properties. That's why turmeric is often called a natural blood thinner. But keep in mind, the effect is subtle. You'd need consistent, daily use over time, and results vary from person to person. 3. Nattokinase and serrapeptase. These are enzymes found in fermented foods, like natto or supplements. They're said to help break down fibrin, the stuff that forms clots. Some small studies suggest benefit, but they're not FDA approved for heart disease, and they can interfere with other meds, so use with caution. 4. Garlic, ginger, ginkgo biloba. All of these have mild blood thinning effects. They may support circulation and reduce clot risk slightly, but again, the impact isn't as strong or predictable as medications. So, can natural options replace aspirin? In low-risk people, maybe. If you're not a candidate for aspirin but want to support heart health naturally, these can be part of your toolbox, along with a healthy lifestyle. But in high-risk people, especially those with atrial fibrillation or a history of heart attack, natural alternatives are not strong enough to prevent serious events on their own. Let me say that again clearly. If you're high risk, don't replace prescription treatments with turmeric or fish oil just because it feels safer. You need something proven. That said, combining natural options with the right medications and lifestyle changes can create a powerful, balanced approach. Bottom line, nature has a lot to offer, but when it comes to preventing a heart attack, especially in high-risk individuals, we need to stick with what the evidence supports. You can always add natural tools, but don't ditch the life-saving ones. Let's wrap this up. Aspirin is not a miracle drug, but it's also not the villain some headlines make it out to be. It can still save lives, especially for those who've already had a heart attack or have clear plaque buildup. But for others, especially those in the just-in-case group, daily aspirin might do more harm than good. The real answer isn't guesswork. It's about knowing your body, your risks, and making an informed decision with your doctor. Want to know how to prevent a heart attack for real? Start with testing. Learn if you have plaque. Find out your hidden risks like LPA or prediabetes. Then build a plan, with or without aspirin, that actually fits you. If this video helped you, give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and let me know in the comments. Are you currently taking aspirin? Why or why not? And if you want to learn how I reversed my plaque, click right here for the next video. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay smart, and take care of your heart.